Imagine this, it's a cold December evening. The air feels crisp, like when you breathe out and see little clouds. The sun is gone, and the sky is dark with tiny stars peeking out. In a small neighborhood, there's a boy named Timmy Jones. Timmy is 12 years old. He's not super tall, not super short, just a regular kid with messy brown hair and a big, happy smile that makes you want to smile too. Right now, he's standing outside his family's house, holding a big string of holiday lights. Those lights are bright red, green, blue, and white, all twinkly and fun. Timmy loves them. He's trying to make his house look amazing for Christmas, like something you'd see in a movie. Timmy's humming a song. You know it, jingle bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way, he sings softly. His voice is quiet but happy. He's got a ladder leaning against the house, and he climbs up a little, then down, then up again. He's wrapping the lights around the porch, then stretching them over to the bushes. Up, down, he's busy. The lights start to glow, and the house looks so pretty already. Timmy steps back and looks at it. Wow, he whispers to himself. This is gonna be the best Christmas ever. The neighborhood where Timmy lives is small. There are houses all in a row, like a line of toys on a shelf. Each house has a little yard, and some have trees or flowers. It's a nice place. People know each other here. They wave when they see you, and sometimes they stop to talk. Everyone likes Timmy because he's a good kid. He's the kind of boy who helps old Mrs. Carter carry her groceries or picks up trash he sees on the sidewalk. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, he's nice. That's why people smile when they see him. There's Timmy, they say. What a sweet kid. Well, almost everyone likes Timmy. See, there's one person who doesn't. She's watching him right now, and she's not smiling at all. Her name is Karen. Karen lives across the street from Timmy's house. Her house is big and fancy, with perfect grass and a shiny mailbox. Karen is the president of the HOA. Do you know what that is? HOA stands for Homeowners Association. It's like a club for people who live in the neighborhood. They make rules like, you can't paint your house purple, or you have to keep your grass short. Karen loves rules. She loves them so much that people call her the rulebook queen. Not to her face, though they say it quietly, behind her back, because Karen can be scary when she's mad. Right now, Karen is standing at her window. She's looking out through the curtains, her eyes squinting like she's trying to see something far away. She sees Timmy with his lights. She sees the red and green and blue glowing in the dark. And she doesn't like it? Not one bit. Her lips are pressed together tight, like she's holding in a big frown. Her arms are crossed over her chest. She's wearing a big sweater with a picture of a snowman on it, but she doesn't look cozy or happy. She looks grumpy. Really grumpy. Timmy doesn't know Karen's watching him. He's too busy. He's got a box of lights next to him on the ground. It's a big box, full of more strings, some with little stars, some with bells. He pulls out another string and starts wrapping it around a tree in the yard. This is gonna look so cool, he says to himself. He's imagining how happy his mom and dad will be when they see it. He's imagining how the neighbors will drive by and say, wow, Timmy, great job. He's imagining Christmas morning with hot cocoa and presents and everyone laughing. That's what he wants. That's why he's working so hard. But Karen? She's not thinking about Christmas cheer. She's thinking about rules. She's got a little book in her house, it's the HOA rule book. It's full of boring stuff like no loud music after 9 p.m. and no toys left in the yard. Karen knows every single rule in that book. She reads it all the time, like it's her favorite story. And right now, she's thinking about one rule in particular. It's a rule about lights. The rule says holiday lights can't be too bright or too messy. Karen thinks Timmy's lights are breaking that rule. She thinks they're too bright. Too colorful. Too everything. Timmy keeps working. He doesn't hear the little tap 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 of Karen's fingers on her window. He doesn't see her shake her head and mutter, this is ridiculous. He's in his own world, a happy world full of lights and music. He climbs the ladder again, stretching to reach the roof. The lights dangle a little, then he pulls them tight. Perfect, he says. He's so proud. He steps back and looks at the house again. It's starting to look like a Christmas wonderland. Red lights here, green lights there, white lights sparkling like snowflakes. Timmy claps his hands together. Yes, he cheers quietly. Across the street, Karen's frown gets bigger. She turns away from the window and grabs her phone. She's mad now, really mad. She doesn't like that Timmy's lights are so bright. She doesn't like that they're making her house look boring in comparison. She doesn't like that a kid, is doing something she didn't say he could do. Karen thinks she's the boss of the neighborhood. She thinks everyone has to listen to her. And when they don't, oh boy, she gets upset. Timmy's still outside. It's getting colder now. He rubs his hands together to warm them up. His breath makes little puffs in the air. He's almost done with the lights, but he's got one more idea. He runs inside the house for a second and comes back with something special. It's a little secret, something he's been saving. He hides it behind his back and giggles. This is gonna be awesome, he says. He's got a surprise, and it's not just more lights. It's something bigger. Something nobody knows about yet, not even his mom and dad. Karen doesn't see the surprise. She's too busy pacing in her living room, holding her phone. She's talking to herself. Those lights are against the rules, she says. I told everyone last year no bright lights. No crazy decorations. This is my neighborhood, and I make the rules. She stops pacing and looks out the window again. Timmy's still there, working away. Karen's eyes get narrow. That's it, she says. I'm going to stop this right now. But here's the thing, Timmy's not just any kid. He's got something up his sleeve, something Karen doesn't expect. He's not just putting up lights because it's fun, even though it is fun. There's a reason behind it, a big reason. And Karen? She has no clue. She thinks she's the smartest person around. She thinks she knows everything. But she doesn't know what Timmy's hiding. She doesn't know that this night, this cold, starry night, is going to turn into something she'll never forget. Timmy finishes the tree in the yard. He steps back and looks at it. The lights twinkle like little fireflies. He smiles again, that big, happy smile. He's so excited. He doesn't care that it's cold. He doesn't care that his fingers are numb. He just wants to finish. He wants to see the whole house lit up. He wants to make people happy. That's Timmy. He's a kid who likes making people smile. Meanwhile, Karen's still watching. She's still mad. She's still holding her phone, her finger hovering over the buttons. She's thinking about calling someone. Maybe the HOA board. Maybe Timmy's parents. Maybe even the police. Yes, the police. She thinks that's a good idea. I'll tell them there's a kid breaking the rules, she says to herself. They'll come and make him stop. She nods, like she's made up her mind. Timmy doesn't know any of this. He's too busy. He's got his secret thing still hidden behind his back. He's walking around the yard now, looking for the perfect spot to put it. Over here, he says. No, maybe there. He's talking to himself, planning it out. He's so focused that he doesn't hear the creak of Karen's front door. He doesn't see her step outside, her phone in her hand, her face all red and angry. The neighborhood is quiet. The stars are shining. The lights on Timmy's house are glowing brighter and brighter. It's a perfect night, well, almost perfect. Because Karen's coming. And she's not happy. But Timmy? He's got that surprise. That little secret. And it's going to change everything. What is it? You'll find out soon. But for now, Timmy's just a kid with a big smile, humming jingle bells, making his house look like Christmas magic. Karen takes a step closer. She's across the street, but she's watching every move Timmy makes. She doesn't know it yet, but this night isn't going to go the way she thinks. Timmy's got something special planned. Something big. Something that's going to make everyone talk, not just the neighbors, but maybe the whole town. And Karen? She's about to find out she's not the only one who can surprise people. It's still that cold December night. The stars are twinkling, and Timmy's holiday lights are shining all over his house, red, green, blue, and white. They look so pretty, like a big Christmas hug. Timmy's standing in his yard, holding a string of bulbs, smiling at how nice everything looks. He's proud. He's happy. He's just a 12-year-old kid who loves Christmas. But then, something happens. Something big. Across the street, Karen's front door flies open. Bang. It's loud, like a book slamming shut. Out she comes, stomping down her steps. Her arms are crossed tight over her chest, like she's hugging herself because she's so mad. Her face is all scrunched up, wrinkly and red, like she just bit into a sour lemon and didn't like it one bit. She's wearing that big snowman sweater, but she doesn't look cozy. She looks mean. Really, really mean. Timmy hears her shoes on the ground thump, 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 and he turns around. Karen's coming fast, straight across the street toward him. Her eyes are sharp, like little arrows pointing right at him. "Hey, you," she yells. Her voice is loud and sharp, cutting through the quiet night. Timmy freezes. He's still holding his string of lights, and his big smile starts to fade. What's going on? Karen stops right in front of him. She's taller than Timmy, and she's standing so close he can see her breath in the cold air. "Those lights are too bright," she snaps. Her words are fast and angry, like she's spitting them out. "They're way too bright, and they're against the rules. I'm the HOA president, and I say they have to come down." She points at the lights on the house, then at the ones on the bushes, then at the tree. She's pointing everywhere, like she wants them all gone. Timmy blinks at her. His eyes are big and round, like two little moons. He's confused. "Too bright," he says quietly. His voice is small, like he's not sure what to say. He looks at his lights. They're twinkling so nice, red, green, blue, white. He thinks they're perfect. What's wrong with them? He's just a kid. He doesn't get why Karen's so mad. To him, it's no big deal. He just wants to make Christmas fun. But to Karen, it's a huge deal. She's shaking her head, her lips tight like a zipper. "Yes, too bright," she says again. "And too messy. The rules say no crazy lights like this. You're breaking them, and I'm not gonna let that happen." She uncrosses her arms and puts her hands on her hips. She looks like a teacher scolding a kid who forgot his homework. "Take them down right now, or I'm calling the cops," she yells. Timmy's mouth drops open a little. "The cops," he says. His voice is even smaller now, almost a whisper. He doesn't move. He just stands there, holding his string of bulbs, staring at Karen. The cops? 4 lights? That sounds crazy to him. He's not hurting anyone. He's not being bad. He's just decorating. Why is she acting like this? Why does she hate him so much? Karen doesn't wait for him to answer. She's already pulling her phone out of her pocket. It's a big phone with a sparkly case, and she holds it up like it's a weapon. "That's right," she says. "The cops? I'm dialing 911 right now. You'll see." Her fingers start moving fast, tapping the screen. Tap, tap, tap. She's serious. She's really doing it. She's calling the police because of Timmy's Christmas lights. Timmy doesn't know what to do. He's still standing there, his feet stuck to the ground like glue. The string of bulbs in his hands feels heavy now. He looks at Karen, then at his house. The lights are still glowing red, green, blue, white. They're so pretty, but Karen's acting like they're a crime. Like there's something bad. He doesn't understand. He's just a kid, what's the big deal? While Karen's dialing, something else happens. The neighbors start to notice. Across the street, a curtain moves. Someone's peeking out. It's old Mr. Jenkins, the guy who always sits on his porch with a cup of tea. He's watching, his head poking out from behind the curtain. Next door to Timmy's house, another window lights up. It's the Lopez family. They've got little kids who love Timmy. Mrs. Lopez is looking out, her hand on the glass. Up the street, a dog barks, and then another curtain twitches. People are whispering. "What's going on?" they say to each other. Why's Karen yelling at Timmy? Karen doesn't care who's watching. She's too busy. She holds the phone to her ear now. "Hello? Yes, 911, she says. Her voice is loud and bossy. "I've got a problem here. There's a kid breaking the rules with these awful lights. They're too bright, and he won't take them down. You need to send someone right now." She's talking fast, like she's in a hurry. She keeps glaring at Timmy while she talks, her eyes like little storms. Timmy's heart beats faster. He can hear it in his chest thump, thump, thump. The cops are coming? For real? He looks at his lights again. They're still twinkling, still pretty. He doesn't want to take them down. He worked so hard. He spent all afternoon climbing the ladder, wrapping the bushes, fixing the tree. He wanted to make everyone happy. But now Karen's mad, and the cops are coming, and he doesn't know why this is happening. Poor Timmy just stands there. The string of bulbs hangs from his hands, brushing the grass. He's not smiling anymore. His big, happy smile is gone. He looks at Karen, then at the ground, then back at Karen. I don't get it, he says softly. They're just lights. His voice is so quiet you can barely hear it over the sound of Karen talking on the phone. Karen hangs up. They're on their way, she says, smirking a little. A smirk is like a mean smile, and Karen's good at it. She crosses her arms again and stares at Timmy. You should have listened to me, she says. I told you those lights are against the rules. Now you'll learn. She sounds proud, like she's won something. She thinks she's the boss, and Timmy's just a silly kid who doesn't matter. But here's the thing, Karen's wrong. She doesn't know it yet, but she's so wrong. She thinks she's got everything figured out. She thinks Timmy's just a kid with some dumb lights. She thinks the cops will come and tell him to stop, and she'll be the big winner. But there's something she doesn't see. Something big. Something coming her way that's going to flip this whole night upside down. Timmy's still standing there, quiet and confused. The neighbors are still peeking out their windows, whispering to each other. Poor Timmy, they say. What's Karen doing now? They feel bad for him. They like Timmy. He's the kid who waves at them, who helps them, who makes them smile. And Karen? Well, they don't like her so much. She's always yelling about rules about grass, rules about trash cans, rules about everything. They call her the rulebook queen when she's not around. They're tired of her. Karen doesn't hear the whispers. She's too busy staring at Timmy, waiting for the cops to show up. She thinks she's in charge. She thinks she's right. She thinks those lights are the worst thing ever. Too bright, she mutters again. Too messy. Too much. She shakes her head, like she can't believe Timmy dared to put them up. Timmy looks at her. He's still holding his lights. He's still confused. But, they're for Christmas, he says. His voice is shaky now, like he's scared. I just wanted it to look nice. He's trying to explain, but Karen doesn't listen. She never listens. She just keeps standing there, arms crossed, face scrunched, waiting for the police to come fix everything. The night is quiet again. The stars are still out. The lights on Timmy's house keep twinkling red, green, blue, white. They're so pretty, but Karen hates them. The neighbors keep watching, hiding behind their curtains. Timmy keeps standing, holding his bulbs. And Karen keeps smirking, thinking she's won. But she hasn't won. Not yet. Because something's coming. Something Karen doesn't expect. Something that's going to make her wish she'd stayed inside. Timmy's just a kid, sure. But he's got a secret. A big one. And Karen? She's got no idea what's about to hit her. Timmy keeps working. He's happy. He's excited. He's got no idea what's coming. And Karen? She's got no idea either. The lights keep shining. The night keeps going. And the story? Oh, it's just getting started. The next day comes fast. The sun is up, shining bright, and it's still cold outside because it's December. Timmy Jones, that 12-year-old kid with the messy brown hair, is back in his yard. He's not done with his lights, not even close. Yesterday, Karen yelled at him and called the cops because she said his Christmas lights were too bright. But Timmy? He's not giving up. Nope. He's out there again, holding a new box of lights, big ones this time, with little stars that sparkle extra bright. Timmy's humming Jingle Bells again. Jingle bells, he sings softly. He's happy. He's got his ladder out, and he's climbing up to the roof now. Up, up, up he goes, carrying a long string of red and green lights. He wraps them around the top of the house, pulling them tight so they don't fall. Then he climbs down and grabs more blue ones this time. He's putting them on the bushes, twisting them around and around. The house looks even prettier than yesterday. Red, green, blue, white, every color you can think of. Timmy steps back and looks at it. Awesome, he says to himself, smiling big. But across the street, Karen's not smiling. Oh no. She's fuming. That means she's super mad, like a volcano about to pop. She's standing at her window again, peeking through the curtains. Her face is red, her eyes are narrow, and her hands are balled up into fists. She sees Timmy out there, adding more lights. More. After she told him to stop. She can't believe it. That kid, she mutters. That little troublemaker. She's so mad she's shaking a little. Karen can't take it anymore. She grabs her big snowman sweater, pulls it on, and stomps out her door. Thump, 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 her shoes hit the ground hard as she marches across the street. She's coming for Timmy again, and she's loud. Hey! You, she yells. Her voice is sharp, like a dog barking. Timmy hears her and turns around. He's holding a string of starlights now, and he's halfway up the ladder. He looks down at Karen, his big eyes blinking. I warned you, kid. Karen shouts. She's pointing at him, her finger jabbing the air. I told you yesterday those lights are against the rules. And now you're putting up more? I'm reporting this. You're in big trouble now. She's so loud the whole neighborhood can hear her. Her arms are waving, her face is all scrunched up again, like that sour lemon is back in her mouth. She thinks she's the boss. She thinks Timmy's scared. She thinks she's going to win. But here's the weird thing, Timmy's not scared. Not at all. He just looks at Karen, standing there on his ladder, holding his lights. And then he smiles. A little smile, not a big one, but it's there. Go ahead, he says. His voice is calm, like he's talking about the weather. Report it? I don't mind. Then he turns back to his lights and keeps working, wrapping the stars around the roof. Up, down, he's not stopping. Karen's mouth drops open. What, she says. She can't believe it. This little kid is talking back to her? Telling her to go ahead? She's the HOA president. People are supposed to listen to her. She's supposed to be in charge. But Timmy's acting like he doesn't care. Like her yelling doesn't bother him one bit. That makes Karen even madder. You'll see, she yells. You'll be sorry. She pulls out her phone again, ready to call someone, maybe the cops, maybe the HOA board, maybe both. But something strange is happening. Down the street, a police car rolls up. It's quiet, no sirens, no lights flashing, just a slow roll. The car's black and white, with big letters on the side that say police. It stops a few houses away, near the corner. 2 cops are inside, but they don't get out yet. They're just sitting there, watching. Karen doesn't see them. She's too busy shouting at Timmy. This is your last chance, she screams. Take those lights down, or else. Timmy doesn't look at her. He's still on the ladder, humming Jingle Bells. Jingle all the way, he sings softly. He's so calm it's weird. Why isn't he worried? Karen's yelling about cops and rules, and he's just smiling. That little smile is still on his face. He finishes the starlights and climbs down. Then he grabs another string from his box, white ones this time, super twinkly. He starts wrapping them around a little tree in the yard, acting like Karen's not even there. Karen's fuming so much now you can almost see steam coming out of her ears. That's it, she says. She starts tapping her phone again, calling someone. Hello? Yes, it's me, Karen, she says into the phone. That kid's at it again, more lights? I need someone here now. She's pacing back and forth in Timmy's yard, her shoes crunching the grass. She's loud, she's mad, and she's not stopping. But then, something else happens. Timmy's dad steps outside. He's a tall guy with a beard, wearing a red jacket and boots. He's been inside the house this whole time, but now he's here. He walks out onto the porch and leans against the railing, watching everything. Karen's yelling, Timmy's decorating, and the police car's sitting down the street. And Timmy's dad? He's got a little grin on his face. Not a big smile, just a tiny one, like he knows something funny. Karen doesn't notice him at first. She's too busy talking on her phone. Yes, right now, she says. He's breaking every rule in the book. She's waving her free hand around, pointing at the lights again. The red ones, the green ones, the blue ones, the white ones, she hates them all. This is ridiculous, she yells. I'm in charge here. Timmy finishes the little tree and steps back. Looks good, he says to himself. He's still calm, still smiling that little smile. He glances at his dad on the porch, and his dad gives him a tiny nod like a secret signal. What's that about? Karen doesn't see it. She's too busy shouting into her phone. But the neighbors see it. They're still watching from their windows, peeking out, whispering. What's Timmy doing, they say. Why's he so chill? The police car is still there, quiet and sneaky. The cops inside are looking this way now. One of them has a notepad, and he's writing something. The other one's just staring, his head tilted a little. They're close, but not too close. Karen's too loud to hear the car's engine turn off. She's too mad to notice anything except Timmy and his lights. Timmy's dad crosses his arms and keeps grinning. He's watching Karen march around, yelling and waving her phone. He's watching Timmy climb the ladder again with more lights. And he's watching that police car down the street. He knows something. Something big. Something Karen doesn't know. And it's making him smile. Karen hangs up her phone. They're coming, she says to Timmy. You're done for now, kid. She smirks, thinking she's won again. She thinks the cops or the HOA or someone is going to show up and make Timmy stop. She thinks she's the queen of the neighborhood, and Timmy's just a silly little boy who can't do anything about it. But Timmy? He's not worried. He climbs down the ladder and grabs another box. More lights? He's got so many red ones, green ones, even some with little bells on them. He starts hanging them on the porch, humming louder now. Oh, what fun it is to ride, he sings. That little smile is still there. He's not scared. He's not mad. He's just Timmy. Karen stares at him. What's wrong with you, she says. Didn't you hear me? You're in trouble. She's so confused. Why isn't he crying or running away? Why isn't he taking the lights down? She doesn't get it. She thinks she's the smartest person here, but she's missing something. Something huge. Timmy's dad chuckles. It's a quiet laugh, but it's there. He's still on the porch, watching everything. The police car's still down the street, waiting. The neighbors are still peeking, whispering. And Timmy's still decorating, calm as can be. See, there's something Karen doesn't know. Something about those lights. Something about Timmy. Something that's going to turn her whole world upside down. And it's coming soon, really soon. It's still that chilly December day. Timmy's out in his yard, hanging more Christmas lights, red ones, green ones, blue ones, white ones, all twinkly and bright. He's calm, humming jingle bells, smiling that little smile. Karen's there too, yelling at him like always. Take those lights down, she shouts. I called the cops. You're in trouble now. She's waving her phone around, her face all scrunched up and mad. She thinks she's winning. She thinks Timmy's just a silly kid who's about to lose. But then bam, something big happens. Suddenly, two cops walk up. They're coming from that police car that's been sitting quietly down the street. The cops are tall, wearing dark blue uniforms with shiny badges. One has a notepad in his hand, and the other has a serious look on his face. Their boots crunch on the grass as they walk, crunch, crunch, crunch. They're not smiling, but they're not mad either. They're just coming. Timmy's still on his ladder, wrapping lights around the porch. He doesn't see the cops yet. But Karen does. She turns her head fast when she hears their boots. Finally, she says, smirking. That mean little smile is back on her face. She crosses her arms and looks at Timmy. See, kid. The cops are here. Now you'll have to take those stupid lights down. She thinks the cops are here for Timmy. She thinks they're going to yell at him and make him stop. She thinks she's the boss, like always. But the cops don't stop at Timmy. Nope. They keep walking straight toward Karen. Their boots keep crunching, closer and closer. Karen's smirk starts to fade. Her eyes get big, like two round cookies. Wait, what? She says. Her voice is loud and shaky now, not bossy anymore. She takes a step back, her phone slipping a little in her hand. The cops stop right in front of her, so close she can see their badges shining in the sunlight. Karen Miller, one cop says. His voice is deep and calm. He's the one with the notepad. He flips it open and looks at her. Karen blinks fast. Why yes, that's me, she says. She's stuttering now, her words tripping over each other. But why are you talking to me? He's the one breaking the rules. She points at Timmy, her finger shaking a little. She's still trying to be in charge, but it's not working. The second cop shakes his head. We're not here for him, he says. He points his thumb back at Timmy, who's still on the ladder, humming away. We're here for you. His voice is quiet but strong, like he means it. Karen's jaw drops. It falls open so wide you could fit a whole Christmas cookie in there. Me, she squeaks. What do you mean, me? Timmy hears this and looks over. He's still holding his lights, those pretty star ones. He tilts his head, curious now. His little smile gets a tiny bit bigger. The neighbors are watching too. Curtains are open now, Mr. Jenkins, the Lopez family, everyone. They're peeking out, their mouths open too. What's happening? Why are the cops talking to Karen? The first cop looks at his notepad. We got some complaints about you, Ms. Miller, he says. He flips a page and reads. Turns out you've been breaking some rules yourself. Karen's face goes white, then red like a Christmas ornament. She shakes her head fast. No. That's not true. I'm the HOA president. I follow all the rules, she yells. But the cop doesn't stop. He keeps reading. First, he says, you've got a dog. A little white one, right? Karen freezes. Her eyes dart around, like she's looking for a way out. Well, yes, but she starts. The cop cuts her off. This is a no pets zone, he says. HOA rules say no dogs, no cats, nothing. But you've been sneaking that dog in and out, haven't you? He looks at her, waiting for an answer. Karen's mouth opens and closes, like a fish out of water. I didn't, she tries to say, but the second cop jumps in. People saw it, he says. Neighbors told us. You've been hiding that dog for months. He points down the street, like he's saying the neighbors are the ones who snitched. Karen's face gets even redder. She's caught, and she knows it. The first cop flips another page. And that's not all, he says. You've been dumping trash where you shouldn't. Old boxes, bags, stuff you're too lazy to take to the dump. We found it behind the community shed. He looks up at her, his eyes serious. That's against the rules too. Big time. Karen's shaking now. No. That's a lie, she yells. But her voice is wobbly, like she's not so sure. The neighbors gasp. You can hear it from the windows, little O's and A's. They didn't know about this. Karen's always yelling at them about rules, don't park here, don't plant that, but she's been breaking rules herself. Wow. Timmy climbs down his ladder now. He's standing in the yard, watching the cops and Karen. His dad's still on the porch, grinning bigger now. And here's the big twist, the huge reveal. The second cop turns to Timmy. Hey, kid, he says. Those lights you're putting up there for the charity thing, right? Timmy nods, his smile growing. Yeah, he says. For kids who need help. The first cop looks at Karen. See, those two bright lights, he says. Timmy's been working with us, the police department. It's a project to raise money for kids in need. People drive by, see the lights, and donate. It's a good thing. He smiles a little at Timmy. This kid's doing something great. Karen's jaw drops even lower. What? She sputters again. Her face is so red it's like a tomato now. She looks at Timmy, then at the cops, then at the lights. Charity, she says. With the police. She can't believe it. She thought Timmy was just being a troublemaker. She thought his lights were bad. But they're not bad, they're good. Really good. The second cop nods. Yep, he says. We were already coming here today not for Timmy, but for you. We got calls about your dog and your trash. Then you called 911 about the lights, and we figured we'd handle it all at once. He shrugs, like it's no big deal. But to Karen, it's a huge deal. The neighbors gasp again, louder this time. Timmy's helping kids, they whisper. Karen's the bad one. They're shocked. They lean out their windows now, not hiding anymore. Mr. Jenkins claps his hands. Mrs. Lopez cheers. They're happy for Timmy. They're mad at Karen. Karen's shaking her head. No, 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 she says. This can't be right. But it is right. The cops were never here for Timmy. They were here for her. Those lights she hates? They're part of something awesome. And her? She's the one in trouble, big trouble. Timmy's dad steps off the porch now. Told you, Timmy, he says, laughing a little. Keep doing your thing. Timmy nods and smiles big, his real big smile, not the little one. The cops look at Karen. We need to talk more, the first one says. About that dog and the trash. Karen's face goes from red to white again. She's caught, and everyone knows it. The lights keep twinkling red, green, blue, white. They're beautiful. They're for a good cause. And Karen? She's not the boss anymore. Not today. The cops are still standing in front of Karen. The first one, the guy with the notepad, is looking at her with his serious face. The second one, the guy who talked about Timmy's lights, is crossing his arms now. Karen's just staring at them, her mouth open, her eyes wide. She looks like she's seen a ghost, or maybe like she is the ghost, because her face is so white now it's almost see-through. The red from before? Gone. She's not mad anymore. She's scared. Timmy's standing in the yard, holding his string of starlights. He's not on the ladder anymore, he climbed down to watch. His big smile is back, the one that makes you want to smile too. He's looking at the cops, then at Karen, then at his dad. His dad's off the porch now, walking over slow with that little grin still on his face. The police car's parked down the street, quiet and still, but everyone knows it's there. The neighbors are leaning out their windows, gasping and whispering. This is big. Really big. Karen finally finds her voice. This is a mistake, she says. Her words come out fast and squeaky, like a mouse running from a cat. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm the HOA president. I make the rules. You should be talking to him. She points at Timmy again, her hand shaking so much it's wobbling in the air. She's trying to turn it back on Timmy. She's trying to be the boss again. But it's not working. The first cop shakes his head. No mistake, he says. He holds up his notepad and taps it with his pen. Tap, tap, tap. We've got proof. People saw your dog. They saw you sneaking it out at night, thinking no one would notice. And the trash? We found it. Your name was on some of the boxes, Karen Miller, right there in big letters. He looks at her, his eyes steady. You can't hide that. Karen's mouth opens again, but nothing comes out. She's flapping her lips like she wants to argue, but there's nothing to say. She's caught. Totally caught. The second cop steps closer. You've been breaking HOA rules for a long time, he says. Neighbors called us about it weeks ago. We were already planning to come talk to you today. Then you called 911 about the lights, so we just came a little early. Timmy tilts his head. Weeks ago, he says softly. He's talking to himself, but the cops hear him. The first one nods. Yep, he says. We've been watching her for a while. But you, kid, you're doing something good. He points at the lights, those red, green, blue, and white twinkly ones all over the house. Tell her about it, he says to Timmy. Timmy smiles bigger. Okay, he says. He steps forward a little, still holding his lights. These lights, they're for a charity, he says. His voice is quiet but clear. Me and the police are working together. We put up lights so people see them and give money. The money helps kids who don't have toys or food. It's for Christmas. He looks at the cops, then at Karen. That's why I didn't stop. It's not just for fun, it's to help. Karen's eyes get even wider. Charity, she says again. Her voice is loud and high, like she's yelling at the sky. With the police. She's shaking her head so fast her hair's bouncing around. No way. That's crazy. She doesn't want to believe it. She can't believe it. She thought Timmy was just a kid making trouble. She thought his lights were bad. But they're not bad, they're amazing. The neighbors hear this and go wild. Charity. Mr. Jenkins yells from his window. He's clapping his hands, clap, clap, clap. Good job, Timmy. Mrs. Lopez sticks her head out next door. That's so nice, she shouts. Her little kids are jumping up and down behind her, cheering. Yay, Timmy. Yay, Timmy, they say. Up the street, another neighbor opens her door and waves. You're the best, Timmy, she calls. Everyone's happy, everyone except Karen. Karen's looking around now, seeing all the neighbors. Her face goes red again, bright red, like a Christmas ball you hang on a tree. She's embarrassed. She's mad. She's confused. But I called you, she says to the cops. I called 911. You're supposed to be here for him. She's pointing at Timmy again, her finger shaking even more. The second cop shrugs. You did call, he says. And we came. But we were already on our way for you. Those lights? They're fine. They're legal. They're part of our project. You're the one breaking rules, not him. He looks at her like she's a kid who didn't do her homework. We've got to deal with you now. Karen's hands drop to her sides. She's not yelling anymore. She's not smirking. She's just standing there, looking small. The cops turn to Timmy's dad. You knew about this, the first cop asks. Timmy's dad nods. Yep, he says. Timmy's been planning it for weeks. I told him to keep going, no matter what. He grins at Timmy. Proud of you, kid. Timmy smiles back. Thanks, Dad, he says. He's still holding his lights, and they're still twinkling in his hands. The cops nod at him. Keep it up, the second one says. You're doing great. Then they turn back to Karen. We need you to come with us, the first cop says. We've got some questions about that dog and the trash. Karen shakes her head again. No. I'm not going anywhere, she says. But her voice isn't strong anymore, it's weak, like she's about to cry. The cops don't budge. It's not a choice, the second one says. Let's go. He points toward the police car down the street. Karen looks at it, then at the cops, then at Timmy. She's stuck. She has to go. The neighbors are still watching. They're not whispering anymore, they're talking loud. She had a dog. Mr. Jenkins says. I knew it. Mrs. Lopez nods. And trash too. She's always yelling at us, but she's worse. The kids behind her are still jumping. Timmy's a hero, they shout. Everyone's on Timmy's side now. Everyone sees what's really going on. Timmy's dad walks over and puts a hand on Timmy's shoulder. You did it, he says. You showed her. Timmy nods. Yeah, he says. I just wanted to help kids. He looks at his lights, red, green, blue, white, all glowing bright. And it's working, he says. His smile is so big it's like the sun came out at night. Karen starts walking with the cops. She's slow, her head down, her shoes dragging on the ground, scrape, scrape, scrape. She doesn't look at anyone. She's too embarrassed. Her big snowman sweater looks silly now, not scary. The cops walk with her, one on each side, making sure she doesn't run away. They're heading to the police car, and everyone's watching. The lights keep shining. They're so pretty, red ones blinking, green ones glowing, blue ones sparkling, white ones twinkling like stars. They're not just lights anymore, they're a big deal. They're helping kids. They're making people happy. And Karen? She's not the boss anymore. She thought she was smart. She thought she was right. But she was wrong, super wrong. Timmy watches her go. He's not mad at her. He's just Timmy, nice, happy Timmy. Maybe she'll learn, he says quietly. His dad laughs. Maybe, he says. But you're the real winner here. Timmy nods. Yeah, he says. For the kids. The neighbors keep cheering. Go, Timmy, they yell. You're awesome. The cops and Karen are almost at the car now. The big reveal is done. Everyone knows the truth, Timmy's good, Karen's not. The lights stay up, and the night keeps going. It's a Christmas surprise no one saw coming, especially Karen. The cops are still standing there with Karen. It's that cold December day, and the police cars waiting down the street. Timmy's lights red, green, blue, white are twinkling all over his house, looking so pretty. The neighbors are out now, cheering for Timmy, clapping their hands, and smiling big. Karen's in big trouble, and she knows it. Her face is red like a Christmas apple, and her hands are shaking. She's not the boss anymore, not even close. Karen tries to talk. This isn't fair, she says. Her voice is loud and whiny, like a kid who didn't get candy. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm the HOA president. You can't do this to me. She's pointing at the cops, then at Timmy, then at the lights. She's mad, and she's trying to argue her way out. She thinks she can talk and talk until the cops change their minds. She thinks she's still in charge. But the cops? They're not listening. Nope. The first cop, the one with the notepad, shakes his head. No more talking, he says. His voice is calm but strong, like a teacher who means business. He pulls out a little paper from his pocket. It's a fine, a ticket you get when you break rules. This is for you, he says, handing it to Karen. You broke the HOA rules. You've got a dog in a no-pets zone, and you dumped trash where you shouldn't. You have to pay this. Karen stares at the paper. Her eyes get big, then small, then big again. A fine, she says. Her voice is squeaky now, like a balloon losing air. Pay money. No way. She shakes her head fast, her hair bouncing around. I'm not paying anything. This is a mistake. She's still trying to argue, still trying to be the rulebook queen everyone calls her behind her back. The second cop steps closer. It's not a mistake, he says. He's taller, and his voice is deeper. And it's not just the fine. You need to clean up your act or else. He looks at her hard, like he's saying she better listen. Clean up that trash. Get rid of the dog, or move somewhere else. If you don't, there'll be more trouble. Got it? He crosses his arms and waits. Karen's mouth opens, then closes, then opens again. She looks like a fish trying to breathe. Or else, she says. What does that mean? She's yelling again, but it's not strong yelling, it's scared yelling. She's not used to this. She's used to telling other people what to do, yelling at Timmy about lights, at Mr. Jenkins about his grass, at Mrs. Lopez about her kids' toys. But now, the cops are telling her what to do, and she doesn't like it one bit. The first cop nods. Yep, or else, he says. More fines. Maybe court. You don't want that. He puts his notepad back in his pocket and looks at her. So, pay the fine. Fix the problems. Or it gets worse. He's done talking now. The cops turn away from Karen and look at Timmy. Your lights are fine, kid, the second cop says. Keep them up. They're awesome. Timmy's standing there, still holding his star lights. His big smile comes back wide and happy, like the sun on a good day. Thanks, he says. His voice is soft but excited. He looks at his house, those red lights blinking, green ones glowing, blue ones sparkling, white ones twinkling. They're staying up. They're not going anywhere. Karen tried to stop him, but she lost. Timmy won. The neighbors hear this and go crazy. Yay, Timmy, they shout. Mr. Jenkins claps his hands, clap, clap, clap from his window. Good for you, boy, he yells. Mrs. Lopez and her kids cheer from their porch. Woohoo, the kids scream, jumping up and down. Up the street, more people stick their heads out. Way to go, Timmy, they call. The whole neighborhood is happy, really, really happy. They're clapping and yelling and waving, all for Timmy. Karen's still standing there, holding her fine. She's not yelling anymore. She's quiet now, her head down a little. She looks at the cops, then at Timmy, then at the neighbors. Everyone's against her now. She mutters something under her breath, soft words no one can hear. Stupid lights, she grumbles. Stupid kid. She's mad, but she's beaten. She turns around slow, her shoes dragging on the grass, scrape, 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 and starts walking back to her house across the street. The cops watch her go. "We're done here," the first one says. He nods at Timmy's dad. "Nice work with the charity," he says. "We'll check in later." The second cop smiles at Timmy. "Keep it up, little man," he says. They turn and walk back to their car. Crunch, 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 their boots loud on the ground. The police car door opens, they get in, and it starts up, vroom. Then they drive away, slow and quiet, down the street and around the corner. Karen's almost at her house now. She's walking like she's tired, her shoulders all slumped. Her big snowman sweater looks heavy, like it's pulling her down. She doesn't look back. She doesn't wave. She just keeps going, muttering to herself. "This isn't fair," she says under her breath. "I'm supposed to win." But she didn't win, not today. Timmy's dad walks over to him. He's tall, with that red jacket and a big grin. He holds up his hand. "High five, kid," he says. Timmy jumps a little and slaps his dad's hand smack. "Good job," his dad says. "You showed her. Those lights are staying, and you're helping kids. I'm proud of you." Timmy's smile gets even bigger. "Thanks, Dad," he says. He's happy not just because Karen's gone, but because his plan worked. The neighbors aren't done yet. Mrs. Lopez runs over with a box. "I've got more decorations," she says. "Let's add them." She opens the box. Little snowmen, candy canes, even some glittery stars. "For your lights," she says. Timmy's eyes light up. "Cool," he says. Mr. Jenkins hobbles over with his cane. "I've got some too," he says. He pulls a little reindeer out of his pocket. "Put this up," he says, laughing. More people come out. The lady up the street brings a wreath, a big green circle with a red bow. "Hang this on the door," she says. The guy with the hot chocolate brings tinsel, shiny silver strings that sparkle. "Wrap this around," he says. Everyone's pitching in now, running to Timmy's yard with stuff. Snowflakes, bells, little Santas, everything you can think of. They're all smiling, all helping, all making it bigger. Timmy grabs the ladder. "Let's do it," he says. He climbs up, and starts hanging the snowmen. His dad takes the candy canes and sticks them in the bushes. Mrs. Lopez hangs the stars on the porch. Mr. Jenkins puts the reindeer on the tree. The lady with the wreath ties it to the door, bang, bang, and it looks perfect. The guy with the tinsel wraps it around the roof, shiny and bright. The lights are still there, red, green, blue, white, but now there's more. Way more. The house looks amazing. It's like a Christmas store exploded in a good way. Red lights blink, green ones glow, blue ones dance, white ones twinkle. Snowmen sit on the roof, candy canes poke out of the bushes, stars hang everywhere. The reindeer stands tall on the tree, the wreath shines on the door, and the tinsel sparkles like silver snow. The neighbors step back and look. "Wow," they say together. "This is the best." Timmy climbs down and stands with his dad. "It's awesome," he says. His dad nods. "You made this happen," he says. "You and your lights." Timmy laughs. "And everyone else too," he says, looking at the neighbors. They cheer again. "Timmy! Timmy!" they shout. He's the hero now, everyone knows it. The next day comes fast. The sun's up, and the lights are still shining, red, green, blue, white, all the decorations too. Timmy's dad checks the charity money. "Whoa," he says. "We've got tons now." He holds up his phone and shows Timmy. $500 already. Timmy's mouth drops open. 500, he says. "That's so much." His dad nods. "Yep," he says. "People saw the lights last night. They drove by, they called, they gave money. It's working." Timmy jumps up and down. "For the kids," he says. "They'll get toys and food." His dad high-fives him again, smack. "You're doing it, kid," he says. The neighbors hear this and come out again. 500. Mrs. Lopez says. "That's amazing." Mr. Jenkins claps. "You're a star, Timmy," he says. More people bring money, $10 here, $5 there. The jar on the porch gets fuller and fuller, clink, clink, clink. Karen's house is quiet. Her curtains are closed, her doors shut. She's not outside. She's not yelling. She's not telling anyone what to do. She's too embarrassed. After the cops took her away yesterday, she came back late, real late. No one saw her, but they heard the police car drop her off. Now she's hiding. She won't show her face for a while, Mr. Jenkins says, laughing. Good riddance. Timmy doesn't care about Karen. He's too busy. He's out in the yard again, fixing a snowman that fell over. His dad's counting the money. The neighbors are adding more decorations, little elves now, and some fake snow. The lights keep shining red, green, blue, white, brighter than ever. The whole neighborhood's happy, all because of Timmy. Justice is served. Karen's in trouble, fined, embarrassed, quiet. Timmy's the winner, lights up, money raised, everyone cheering. The house glows, the kids will get help, and Christmas is better than ever. Timmy smiles. Worth it, he says. And it is. The sun's up high now. It's the next day after the big showdown with Karen and the cops. Timmy's house is glowing like a Christmas dream, red lights blinking, green lights shining, blue lights sparkling, white lights twinkling. The snowmen are sitting on the roof, the candy canes are poking out of the bushes, the stars are hanging on the porch, and the little reindeer is standing proud on the tree. The wreath is on the door, the tinsel's sparkling, and the elves and fake snow are all over the yard. It's the best house in the neighborhood, maybe the whole town. Timmy's out there, fixing that snowman that fell over. He's got his ladder leaning against the house, and he's climbing up, 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 up with a big smile. Stay there this time, he says to the snowman, patting its head. He's humming jingle bells again, jingle bells, soft and happy. His messy brown hair is sticking out under his hat, and his cheeks are pink from the cold. He's 12 years old, just a kid, but right now, he's the biggest star around. His dad's on the porch, counting the money in the jar. Clink, 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 it's full of coins and bills. 520 now, he calls out. Timmy turns fast. 520, he says. His eyes are big, like two shiny marbles. That's even more. His dad nods, grinning. Yep, he says. People keep giving. They love your lights, kid. He shakes the jar, and it jingles like the bell lights on the roof. The neighbors are still out, adding more stuff. Mrs. Lopez runs over with a little Santa hat. For the reindeer, she says, laughing. She climbs up and puts it on the reindeer's head, red with a white puff at the end. Perfect, she says. Mr. Jenkins hobbles over with his cane, tap, 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 holding a string of tiny bells. Found these in my attic, he says. More jingles. Timmy takes them and climbs back up the ladder, jingle, 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 wrapping them around the porch. Thanks, Mr. Jenkins, he says. The lady up the street comes back with more fake snow. Let's make it look like a blizzard, she says. She sprinkles it all over the bushes, white and fluffy, like real snow but not cold. The guy with the hot chocolate brings a big thermos this time. For everyone, he says, pouring cups splash, splash, and passing them out. Hot chocolate for the best kid ever, he says, winking at Timmy. Timmy takes a cup and sips it. Yum, he says. Thanks. Karen's house is still quiet across the street. Her curtains are shut tight, like she's hiding from the world. No one's seen her since the cops brought her back last night. She slinked inside, creak went her door, and that was it. No yelling, no pointing, no bossy voice. She's got that fine to pay, and the cops told her to clean up her act. She's got a dog she's not supposed to have and trash she dumped where she shouldn't. She's in big trouble, and everyone knows it. She's too embarrassed, Mrs. Lopez says, sipping her hot chocolate. She always acted so perfect, but now look. Mr. Jenkins nods. Serves her right, he says. Yelling at Timmy like that, HA. She's the one who's wrong. The neighbors laugh together, ha, 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 and keep decorating. They're not mad at Karen anymore, they're just happy for Timmy. She tried to stop him, but she lost. Justice is served, and it feels good. Timmy's dad walks over with the jar. Look at this, he says, holding it up. 530 now. The neighbors gasp. More, the lady with the fake snow says. Wow, Timmy. Timmy jumps down from the ladder thump and runs over. 530, he says. That's so much money. His dad high-fives him again smack. All because of you, he says. You're helping tons of kids. Timmy smiles big. For toys and food, he asks. His dad nods. Yep, he says. Toys, food, maybe even coats. Kids who don't have much, they'll get it because of your lights. Timmy's chest puffs up a little, like he's proud. Cool, he says. He looks at the house, red, green, blue, white, all shining bright. Worth it, he says softly. More neighbors come out. A guy from down the street brings a little sled, a tiny one for decoration. Put it by the door, he says. Timmy's dad takes it and sets it up, red and wooden, cute as can be. Another lady brings a snow globe. Shake it, she says, handing it to Timmy. He shakes it, whoosh, and little snowflakes swirl inside. Neat, he says, putting it on the porch. Everyone's adding something, making it bigger, making it better. Cars start driving by again. People slow down, looking at the lights, red ones, green ones, blue ones, white ones, all the decorations too. What's this? They yell out their windows. It's awesome. Timmy's dad waves. Charity lights, he shouts. For kids in need. A lady in a blue car stops. I've got $10, she says, tossing it in the jar clink. A guy in a truck honks beep, beep, and throws $5 out. Keep it up, he says. The jar's overflowing now. Bills are sticking out the top, coins are spilling on the porch, clink, clink. 545. Timmy's dad says, counting fast. Timmy claps his hands, clap, clap. More, he says. This is crazy. The neighbors cheer again. You're a hero, Timmy. Mrs. Lopez says. Her kids run over and hug him, squeeze, giggling loud. You're the best, they say. Karen's still inside. No one hears her muttering now. Her house looks dark and sad next to Timmy's. His is all bright and happy, hers is all quiet and grumpy. She won't come out for days, Mr. Jenkins says, sipping his hot chocolate. Too ashamed. The lady with the fake snow nods. She thought she'd win, she says. But Timmy's the winner. They laugh again, ha, ha, and keep decorating. Timmy grabs more lights from the garage, little snowflake ones this time. Let's put these up, he says. He climbs the ladder up, 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 and hangs them on the roof. They twinkle white and bright, like real snow falling from the sky. Pretty. Mrs. Lopez says, clapping. His dad takes the tinsel and wraps it around the bushes, shiny and silver. The guy with the hot chocolate hangs more bells, jingle, jingle, on the tree. It's a team now, all working together. The sun starts going down. The sky turns orange, then pink, then dark. The stars come out, little dots up high. But Timmy's house? It's brighter than ever. Red lights flash, green lights glow, blue lights dance, white lights shine. Snowmen, candy canes, stars, reindeer, wreaths, tinsel, sleds, snow globes, everything's there. It's like a Christmas party that never stops. Cars keep coming, people keep giving, and the jar keeps growing. 560. Timmy's dad says, shaking the jar. Timmy jumps again. 560, he says. That's a ton. His dad laughs. Yep, he says. And it's not done yet. More money comes. A lady gives $20, a guy gives 10. Clink, clink, clink. The jar's so full they need a new one. Timmy's dad runs inside and grabs a big cup. Use this, he says, pouring the money in, whoosh. The neighbors start singing. Jingle bells, they sing, loud and happy. Timmy joins in, jingle all the way. Clapping his hands. His dad sings too, and Mrs. Lopez, and Mr. Jenkins, and everyone. It's a big, noisy, fun song, and the lights seem to blink with the beat, red, green, blue, white. The kids dance around the yard, spinning and laughing, ha, ha, ha. It's the best day ever, and it's all because of Timmy. Karen's still hiding. Her house stays dark. No lights, no noise, no nothing. She's got that fine to pay, maybe $100, maybe more. She's got to clean up her trash and figure out what to do with her dog. She's not the rulebook queen anymore, she's just Karen, and she's embarrassed. She won't bother us for a while, Timmy's dad says, grinning. You scared her off, kid. Timmy laughs. I didn't mean to, he says. I just wanted to help. His dad ruffles his hair. You did more than help, he says. You won. Timmy nods. Yeah, he says. For the kids. He looks at the house, red, green, blue, white, all glowing bright. They'll have a good Christmas, he says. His dad high-fives him again, smack. Thanks to you, he says. The night gets darker, but the yard stays bright. More cars stop. $20, someone yells. 5 more, says another. The new cup fills up, clink, clink, and Timmy's dad counts again. 590, he says. Timmy gasps. Almost 600, he says. Wow. The neighbors cheer louder, Timmy. Timmy. And keep singing. The lights shine on red, green, blue, white, brighter than ever. The decorations sparkle, snowmen, candy canes, stars, everything. The money grows, almost $600 now. Karen stays inside, quiet and embarrassed. And Timmy? He's the hero, smiling big, surrounded by friends. Justice is served, and it's awesome. The neighbors don't go home. Nope, they stay out, adding more, singing more, cheering more. Mrs. Lopez runs inside and comes back with a big speaker. Music time, she says. She turns it on, boom, and Jingle Bells blasts out, loud and clear. Jingle bells, everyone sings, clapping their hands, clap, clap. The kids dance faster, spinning in circles, whoosh, whoosh, laughing so hard they fall down, thump. Timmy's dad grabs more tinsel gold this time. Let's make it fancy, he says. He wraps it around the porch, shiny and bright, like a treasure chest. Timmy takes the snowflake lights and hangs them on the bushes, twinkly and white. More snow, he says, giggling. The lady with the fake snow sprinkles it everywhere, poof, poof, and the yard looks like a winter wonderland, even though it's not snowing for real. Cars keep stopping. A guy in a green van rolls down his window. What's this about, he yells. Charity lights. Timmy shouts back. For kids. The guy smiles. I've got $15, he says, tossing it over, clink. A lady in a white car stops next. $10, she says, dropping it in the cup. Clink, clink, the money's piling up fast. 600. Timmy's dad says, counting again. Timmy jumps, hop, hop, and cheers. 600, he says. That's huge. The neighbors clap louder. You're amazing, Timmy. Mr. Jenkins says. He's sitting on the porch now, sipping hot chocolate, his cane next to him. Best kid ever. Mrs. Lopez nods. A real hero, she says. Her kids run over with cookies, crunch, crunch, and give Timmy more. Eat these, they say. Timmy takes one and bites it, munch. Yummy, he says, smiling with crumbs on his face. More people show up. A lady from across town walks up. Heard about this from my sister, she says. I've got $20. She drops it in, clink, and looks at the lights. So pretty, she says. A guy with a bike rides over. $5, he says, tossing it in. Clink, the cup's overflowing again. Timmy's dad grabs a bucket from the garage. Bigger, he says, pouring the money in, whoosh. 625, he says. Timmy gasps. More, he says. Wow. The music keeps playing, jingle bells, and everyone's singing now. The lights blink with the song red, green, blue, white, like they're dancing too. The snowmen look happy, the candy canes shine, the stars sparkle, the reindeer's hat flops a little. It's a big, loud, happy party, and Timmy's in the middle of it all. This is fun, he says, clapping his hands, clap, clap. Karen's house stays dark. No lights come on. No door opens. She's still inside, probably mad, probably embarrassed. She's hiding, the guy with the hot chocolate says, pouring more, splash. Good. Mrs. Lopez says. She can't boss us anymore. They laugh ha ha and keep decorating. The lady with the fake snow adds more poof and the guy with the tinsel hangs it on the tree shiny and gold. Timmy's dad checks the bucket. 640, he says. Timmy jumps again hop. 640, he says. That's so much. His dad nods. All for the kids, he says. Toys, food, coats, tons of stuff. Timmy smiles big. They'll be happy, he says. Like me. His dad ruffles his hair again. You're the best, kid, he says. More cars stop. $10, someone yells. 5 more, says another. Clink, clink, the bucket's filling up. People honk beep, beep, and wave. Love the lights, they shout. Timmy waves back wave, wave smiling so big his cheeks hurt. The neighbors sing louder, oh what fun it is to ride. And the kids dance more, spin, spin. It's a Christmas party for everyone, all because of Timmy. The sky's all dark now, but the yard's bright as day. The lights are everywhere, red ones flashing fast, green ones glowing steady, blue ones twinkling like stars, white ones shining soft. The snowflake lights sparkle, the bell lights jingle jingle jingle, and the tinsel glows gold and silver. The snowmen sit, the candy canes stand, the stars hang, the reindeer wears its hat, the wreath shines, the sled waits, the snow globe swirls, everything's perfect. More people come. A guy from the next street brings a big star, a gold one. For the roof, he says. Timmy's dad climbs up 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 and puts it on top. It shines bright, like a crown for the house. Wow. Timmy says, clapping clap, clap. That's so cool. The neighbors cheer, yay, Timmy. And the star glows with the lights red, green, blue, white all together. The bucket's almost full. 670. Timmy's dad says, shaking it, clink, clink. Timmy gasps. 670, he says. That's crazy. His dad laughs. Yep, he says. And more's coming. A lady in a red coat walks up. $20, she says, dropping it in clink. A guy with a scarf adds 10 clink. 690. Timmy's dad says. Timmy jumps hop, hop, and cheers. Almost 700, he says. Wow. The music's loud, jingle bells over and everyone singing jingle all the way. The kids dance around Timmy, grabbing his hands, pull, pull, and spinning him whoosh. You're the best, Timmy, they say. Mrs. Lopez brings more cookies crunch and the guy with the hot chocolate pours more splash. For the hero, he says. Timmy takes another sip, slurp, and smiles. Thanks, he says. Cars line up now, 5, 6, 7 of them. $10, one yells. 5, says another. 20, says a third. Clink, 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 the bucket's overflowing again. Timmy's dad grabs a box. Bigger, he says, pouring it in whoosh. 700, he says, counting fast. Timmy's mouth drops open. 700, he says. That's a ton. The neighbors clap, 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 and cheer. You did it, Timmy, they shout. Karen's still inside. Her house is dark, her curtains closed, her door shut. No one cares. She's done, Mr. Jenkins says, laughing ha, ha. No more rules from her. The lady with the fake snow nods. Timmy's the boss now, she says. They laugh again, ha, ha, and keep singing. The lights shine brighter, red, green, blue, white, like they're happy too. Timmy looks at his dad. $700, he says. That's a lot of toys. His dad nods. And food, he says. And coats. You're making Christmas awesome for so many kids. Timmy smiles big. Good, he says. That's why I did it. His dad high-fives him smack. You're amazing, he says. The party keeps going. More money, clink, clink, more singing, jingle bells, more lights, red, green, blue, white. The neighbors dance, the kids laugh, the cars honk, beep, beep. Timmy's in the middle, smiling, happy, proud. Karen's gone, justice is served, and the lights shine on. It's the best Christmas ever, and Timmy made it happen. Okay, everyone, Let's sit down for a minute and talk. The story's over. Timmy's lights are shining, Karen's hiding, and the neighborhood's happy. It's all done now, and it's time to think about what happened. So here's the thing, sometimes the loudest people think they're the strongest, but it's the quiet ones like Timmy who surprise you. That's what this whole adventure was about, and it's pretty cool when you think about it. Let's start with Karen. She was loud, really loud. She yelled at Timmy, she called the cops, she waved her phone around like it was a magic wand. "Take those lights down," she shouted. "I'm in charge," she said. Her voice was big, her face was red, and she acted like she was the boss of everything. She thought being loud made her strong. She thought it made her right. She thought she could tell everyone what to do: Timmy, the neighbors, even the cops. She was the rulebook queen, always bossing people around with her rules about lights and grass and trash cans. But Karen was wrong. She didn't win. She didn't see what was coming. She thought Timmy was just a kid, a little 12-year-old with messy hair and a ladder. She thought his lights, those red, green, blue, and white twinkly ones, were trouble. She thought she could stop him with her yelling and her phone calls. But she didn't know the truth. She didn't know Timmy was quiet but strong. She didn't know he had a big surprise up his sleeve. Timmy wasn't loud. He didn't yell back at Karen. He didn't argue or fight. He just kept going, humming jingle bells, climbing his ladder, hanging his lights. Jingle bells, he sang softly, smiling that little smile. He didn't say much. When Karen shouted, "I'm calling the cops," he just said, "Go ahead." Calm and quiet, like it was no big deal. He didn't look mad. He didn't look scared. He just kept working: red lights here, green lights there, blue lights on the bushes, white lights on the roof. And that's what made Timmy special. He didn't need to be loud. He didn't need to boss anyone around. He was quiet, but he was brave. He had a plan, a good plan, to help kids who don't have toys or food. He worked with the police, he put up his lights, and he kept going, even when Karen tried to stop him. He didn't say, "I'm better than you." He didn't shout, "Look at me." He just did his thing, step by step, light by light, until bam, he surprised everyone. Karen didn't see it coming. She thought she was the strong one because she was loud. She thought she could push Timmy around because he was quiet. But the quiet ones, they're the ones who sneak up on you. They're the ones who do big things without making a fuss. Timmy's lights stayed up, shining brighter than ever. His charity raised tons of money, $700 and counting. The neighbors cheered, the cops told Karen off, and she slinked away, embarrassed and quiet herself. Timmy won, and he didn't even have to raise his voice. So here's something to think about: the loudest people aren't always the strongest. Sometimes they're just loud, like a big drum that makes noise but doesn't do much. And the quiet ones, they're like Timmy: small, steady, surprising. They don't need to yell. They don't need to show off. They just keep going, doing what's right, and then wow, they light up everything. What about you? Ever had a moment like that? Ever had a time when someone thought you couldn't do something, but you proved them wrong without saying a word? Maybe it was at school, like when a kid said you couldn't kick the ball far, but you kicked it all the way across the field. Or maybe it was at home, like when your big brother said you couldn't build a fort, but you made one so cool he wanted to sleep in it. You didn't yell, "I'm better." You didn't fight. You just did it quiet and strong, like Timmy. I want to hear your stories. Tell me below, write it down. Did you ever surprise someone by being quiet but awesome? Did you ever prove someone wrong without making a big fuss? Maybe you helped a friend, or finished a project, or won a game, all without shouting about it. Timmy's story is cool, but your story might be cool too. Share it. I'll read every single one, I promise. Let's think about Timmy again. He wasn't loud, but he was kind. He didn't fight Karen, he just kept going with his lights. Red lights blinking, green lights glowing, blue lights sparkling, white lights twinkling, they were his way of helping. He wanted to make kids happy, kids he didn't even know. He wanted them to have toys, food, maybe a warm coat for Christmas. That's kindness, doing something good without asking for anything back. And it worked. $700, that's a lot of toys. Kindness is strong. It's quiet, but it's big. When you're kind like Timmy, you don't need to yell. You don't need to boss people around. You just do something nice, and it grows. Timmy's kindness started with a ladder and some lights. Then the neighbors helped Mrs. Lopez with her snowmen, Mr. Jenkins with his reindeer, everyone with their money and cheers. Then cars stopped beep, beep, and people gave more. It got bigger and bigger, all because Timmy was kind. And courage. Timmy had that too. Courage means being brave, even when it's hard. Karen was yelling, the cops were coming, but Timmy didn't stop. He climbed his ladder up, up, hanging his lights, humming his song. He wasn't scared. He wasn't loud. He was brave, quiet brave. That takes guts. It's easy to yell when you're mad. It's harder to stay calm and keep going. Timmy did the hard thing, and it paid off. So here's the big idea, kindness and a little courage can light up more than just a street. Timmy's lights red, green, blue, white lit up his house. They lit up the neighborhood. They lit up Christmas for kids who need help. But it's more than that. His kindness and courage lit up everyone, neighbors smiling, people giving, even the cops saying, good job. It spread like a big, warm glow, all from one quiet kid with a ladder. You can do that too. You don't need lights or a ladder. You don't need to be loud. You just need a little kindness like sharing your snack with a friend who forgot theirs. Or a little courage like standing up for someone when no one else does. It doesn't have to be big. It can be small, quiet and small, but it grows. One nice thing turns into two, then three, then bam, it's lighting up everything, just like Timmy's lights. Think about it. What's one kind thing you can do today? Maybe help your mom with the dishes quietly, without her asking. Or give your dog an extra hug just because. Or draw a picture for your teacher she'd like that. It's easy, it's small, but it's strong. And courage? Maybe try something new like riding your bike with no hands, even if you're scared. You don't have to tell everyone. Just do it quiet and brave, like Timmy. Karen didn't get it. She was loud, but she missed the real hero right in front of her. She saw Timmy's lights and thought, trouble. She heard his quiet voice and thought, weak. But she was wrong, so wrong. The real hero wasn't the loud one yelling about rules. It was the quiet one hanging lights, helping kids, surprising everyone. Karen's hiding now, embarrassed and quiet herself. And Timmy? He's shining bright and happy. So what about you? Are you loud like Karen, sometimes yelling to get your way? Or quiet like Timmy, doing good stuff without a fuss? Maybe you're both, it's okay. But remember, you don't need to be loud to be strong. You can be quiet and still be a hero. You can surprise people, help people, light up the world just by being you. Tell me your ideas below. What kind thing can you do? What brave thing can you try? Write it down, I want to know. Maybe you'll help a friend, or share a toy, or stand up for someone. Maybe you'll surprise everyone, just like Timmy did. Your story matters, and I can't wait to hear it. And hey, don't forget, this isn't the end. Timmy's lights are still up, red, green, blue, white, shining bright. The money's still coming, $700 and more. The neighborhood's still cheering, and Christmas is still glowing. Kindness and courage? They don't stop. They keep going, lighting up more than just a street. They light up hearts, smiles, days, everything. See you in the next story, friends. Keep being kind, keep being brave, and keep surprising people. You're awesome, just like Timmy. Bye for now. Let's keep thinking. Karen missed it. She didn't see Timmy's power. She saw a kid, a ladder, some lights, red, green, blue, white, and thought, easy to stop. She was loud, thump, thump across the street, take them down. But she didn't look closer. She didn't see the kindness helping kids. She didn't see the courage keeping going. She thought loud was all that mattered. Nope. Timmy showed her. Quiet and small, but big inside. His lights stayed up twinkling bright. His money grew $700. His neighbors cheered, yay, Timmy. And Karen slinked away, scrape, scrape, embarrassed and quiet. The loud one lost. The quiet one won. Funny, right? You can be like that. You don't need to be loud to be big. Maybe someone says, you can't do that. Like Karen to Timmy. But you can just do it, quiet and strong. Build something, help someone, try something, don't yell, just go. They'll see, bam, you're awesome, and they didn't expect it. Tell me again, write it below. When did you surprise someone? When were you quiet but strong? Maybe you won a race, no bragging, just running. Or helped a friend, no talking, just doing. Share it, I'm waiting. Your stories like Timmy's cool and inspiring. Kindness keeps coming up. Timmy's lights red, green, blue, white were kind. They weren't for him, they were for others. $700 means toys, food, smiles because Timmy cared. You can care too. Give a high five smack to someone sad. Share your pencil, no big fuss. It's small, but it's big, it lights up someone's day. Courage too. Timmy didn't quit, ladder up, lights on, even with Karen yelling. You can keep going like riding your bike after a fall. No shouting, just pedaling, quiet and brave. It's hard, but it's strong. It's you, being a hero. Together, kindness and courage light up everything. Timmy's street glowed red, green, blue, white, but his heart glowed too. Neighbors smiled, kids got help, Christmas shined all from one quiet kid. You can light up stuff, your house, your school, your friends, just by being kind and brave. Try it today. Be kind, help someone, share something, smile big. Be brave, try something scary, keep going, don't stop. You don't need to yell. You don't need to be loud. Just be you, quiet, strong, surprising. It'll light up more than you know, like Timmy's lights lit up the world. See you next time. Keep being awesome, kind, brave, you. Tell me your stories below, I can't wait. Bye for now.